Welcome to Capitol Correspondence. I'm Riley Dugan.
And I'm Alexis DeMeo.
We are here to help celebrate 70 years of the Illinois YMCA Youth in Government.
Stay tuned for a recap of Day 2, where you can see yourself, your friends, and your officials.
To begin the day around 10 o'clock this morning, Governor Logan had an early start and got straight to business. He wasted no time in his potential veto of a bill involving the mental insanity plan. Here's a few clips from his statements.
All right, so the first bill has gotten through. This is Gray House Bill 5. And in terms of my plan for this bill, I plan to veto this bill, as I am ideologically opposed to it. Because fundamentally, it is the right of the accused to be able to plead insanity, especially in cases where it's obviously true. It also is up to the discretion of the judge and jury as to whether that plea is legitimate, and there is no reason to tamper with the judicial process in this way. However, I plan to veto this bill, but I don't plan to veto it immediately. I plan to hold on to it until either the last thing today or the first thing tomorrow morning, in order to give Congress time to think about it, and also in order to give time for the press to communicate it to people in the morning. I also want to give an opportunity for other bills to get an opportunity to get through the system first, because this would go first thing on the docket if I were to veto it immediately, so I'm waiting until the end of today or beginning of tomorrow to veto it. So I'm ready for questions. I mean, it's possible. If the Congress overrides the veto, then that's the democratic process. I think it's likely that my veto would have to be overridden for this bill to pass. I'm opposed to it entirely.
Wow, he sure seems concrete in his stance. What do you think?
I think he might have rushed his decision-making. Although he stated that this bill contradicts with his ideologies, I do believe it could have used further consideration.
I agree with you on that, but we should see what some other people had to say about Logan's decision. Here's Mia reporting from the Capitol.
Scott Gregory. So how do you feel about the governor's decision?
It's the governor's prerogative to do what he wants. So if he wants to table a bill or veto it, that's his prerogative, that's his right, and he can do what he wants.
Thank you.
I feel like it's a little bit early during the day to really pass a judgment on that. I respect his decision and his own ideological beliefs, but I do feel like it really should have been given more of a chance on the floor.
And how about you?
Well, we're just starting out. It's like some people, this is their first time, so went like 0 to 100 real quick. But I think we should have leaned into it more like throughout the day. But like Alexandra said, he has his rights through his own beliefs and opinions.
I agree 100% with the governor's decision to veto this bill. I believe that if, say, a person with mental instability does not get the help and is not declared as insane, they won't have a fair trial when they do, say, murder more than 4 people. I believe that the jury and the court as itself will give them a fair trial that they deserve. So I agree 100% with vetoing the bill.
Thank you.
Well, all I can say is that I hope this bill is further discussed throughout the day. Hopefully we can get back to you with more information later.
Slowing things down from the pace of this morning, Chief Justice Brianna Goya had some heartwarming comments on her position in youth in government.
What do you know about heartwarming comments?
Hey, I sent you a chocolate this morning.
That's funny. But anyway, Brianna had some positive words speaking with Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia Burke, and I'm here today with Brianna Goya. She's here to tell us a little bit about what she does as the Chief Justice. So how are you going to take the experiences you've had here and use them to better help you in the future?
So youth in government has really taught me a lot about myself and my leadership skills, and I've really built all of my leadership skills and even being able to talk in front of people. So I know I'll definitely take that with me wherever I go.
Now, what do you hope for with our next Chief Justice?
I hope they'll continue to build the program and bring new ideas. I introduced a few things this year, and I hope they'll bring some even new exciting things next year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today.
She's such an impassioned officer. On the topic of Chief Justice, 2020 candidate Emma O'Donnell revealed some of her strengths and skills on an interview today with John.
Hi, I'm John Lombados, and I'm here with Emma O'Donnell. She's running for Chief Justice. Hi, Emma.
Hi.
So, Emma, we got to know, why are you running for Chief Justice?
Well, youth in government has been my family since freshman year, and I just really want to help it out in the best way I can.
Emma, what do you think are some of your stronger qualities that would qualify you to be the Supreme Justice?
Well, I'm pretty hardworking. I'm dedicated to what I do, so if I'm Chief Justice, I can pretty much dedicate myself to solely that. So I can pretty much get people to listen to me if I have to, and I'm actually pretty loud, so if the courtroom gets riled up, I can yell pretty loud to quiet them down.
And Emma, one more thing. We heard you had a Mary Poppins theme going on.
Yeah.
So what's that all about?
So I'm part of my school's theater program, and we have a children's show every year. And this year our show was Mary Poppins, and I was just really tired after that show was done. So it just popped into my head, and the people in my delegation liked it, so.
Works. Thank you, Emma.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you.
Not only does she have some crazy spelling skills, but she also seems pretty fearless too. She was able to correct John on his pronunciation. Nice try, John.
Hey, so have you heard of Ancestry.com?
Yeah, I actually figured out that Abraham Lincoln was my 12th great-grandfather.
Are you serious?
No, but I wish that was true.
Well, did you know that since you're part of those DNA requesting websites, the government could actually use that information against you in a crime case?
Well, thankfully, I haven't committed a crime.
Here's Gabby with more.
Hi, I'm Gabby Mintrop, and I'm here with Sophie McComb. So, Sophie, what compelled you to write this bill?
So, familial DNA is really important to me. I did a bill on DNA last year, and its use in sexual assault cases and the testing of rape kits. And this has always been something I've been passionate about. I want to go into it in college using biostatistics. And I think it's really important because as technology increases, we have more available resources. Over 54% of cold cases are not solved each year. And 46 crimes happen every 20 minutes, violent crimes. And I think this is a huge issue, and I think because we have these resources, because it's by ACLU guidelines, I think we can find the balance between privacy and information to remedy these cases.
So would the government need a warrant to get the DNA from these companies like Ancestry.com, 23andMe?
Yep, just like all other DNA used from the code, they do need a warrant. That's followed by the ACLU guidelines. That's actually why it only applies to felonies as well. And this is because DNA it's not admissible in court unless with a warrant. So again, we're following all legal procedures, not saying that this would necessarily be used in court, but this provides the connection to make a lead in any scenario, which is better than what these cold cases have right now, because some of them haven't been solved for like 20 years.
Okay, so can they keep the DNA on file even if the person isn't convicted?
So again, it goes like with DNA from any other case. So again, they'll have it like in the case file, but it's not admissible to the public at all, just like most case files aren't. And it's only specifically used for that specific case, and it's not used for anything else.
Thank you so much, Sophie.
I was all for privacy rights and consent before, but Sophie had some great evidence to support her bill. If we weren't convinced before, we might be now.
Aside from our privacy rights, what about our right to purchase a full loaf of bread?
Who's stopping you from purchasing a full loaf of bread?
Well, there's actually a bill up for debate that would take away my very right to the heels of bread.
Hi, I'm John Lombados, and I'm here with Colin Hecht, and we're going to be talking about the bread bill. So Colin, what's your bill about?
So basically it takes the heels of loaves of sliced bread and it donates them to local charities because most of the time they just go to waste.
And the bread police will be on call and ready to act whenever is necessary?
Absolutely.
And if they're not available, how about the Muffin Man?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Colin. Bill. Now, Karina, what do you think about the bread bill?
I absolutely love the bread bill.
Nobody likes the heel of the bread. You know, if you get stuck eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with both heels, it's like, I don't know what to do with myself, right?
Now, the people will get the bread they want, and the charities will get the food they need. I want to let you know right now, I love my crust. I love my country. I love my peanut butter jelly sandwiches. You have a great day.
Vote for the bread bill.
Vote for the bread bill.
It's airtight.
Vote for it.
This is the right thing to do for Illinois. Support this bill.
Well, I personally don't like the ends of the bread, but my dog does enjoy them, so I don't think they should be outlawed for the sake of my dog.
I think it's a very creative way to get more food out there for people who need it.
It's just pointless. Why do we need to take the heels off of a bread?
And I'm still asking people questions about the bread bill. I'm here with Michael. Now, Michael, what's your opinion on the bread bill?
The bread bill is the greatest bill I've ever read, and if we don't get it passed, I will cry myself to sleep.
First, the government is trying to steal our DNA, and now our bread.
I never thought there'd be an issue with bread smuggling, but it might just come to that.
Aside from that, there is a way the government is trying to protect us, and that is protecting the identity of minors in the media involved in sexual offenses and violent crimes. Let's watch the governor review this bill.
All right, I've signed Gray House Bill 16. It's a simple, reasonable bill. I haven't seen any compelling arguments against it, and I just think it's a good thing to exist. It's quite simple.
We caught up with one of the governor candidates in the 2020 election, Dill, who is a sponsor of the bill, and to get to find out about the bill being signed.
Hi, I'm Gabby Mintrup, and I'm here with Dill Qadri. So, Dill, can you tell us a little bit about your bill and your motivations behind it?
Sure. Our bill is House Gray 16, and basically what it is trying to accomplish, it's trying to get rid of the identification of minors who are victims of sexual assault or all violent crimes, for a matter of fact, in order to protect them from bullying, harassment, because of the suffering that they've endured.
So, how does it feel to be the first bill passed by the governor?
Oh, I was not aware of that. Thanks for letting me know that. But yeah, it's great. It feels good.
What a genuine reaction. This is a great step forward in the Illinois government. Staying on the topic of proactive bills, our reporter Mia spoke with Maddie and Kate about their bill about comprehensive sex education.
Hi, I'm Brianna, and I'm here with Kate Schlesinger and Maddie Petrausis. How would your bill change pregnancy?
So currently in Illinois, the only law about sex education is that you have to, if you choose to teach sex education in your schools, you have to do it from an abstinence-only stance. And what we're trying to implement is teaching kids about including LGBTQ plus communities and sex education regarding that, contraceptive options to prevent teen pregnancies, information about STIs and STDs to prevent those happening in teens, and just more general information about consent and what no means to prevent rape and sexual assault.
Can you explain the current education levels for sexual education?
So basically the current education levels is schools can teach whatever they want to as long as it's abstinence-based, and we kind of want to change that so that kids are learning like in depth about it, and they because it's going to happen whether you teach them abstinence or not, and it's just better overall to just decrease teen pregnancy and STDs, STIs, even abortions if we're teaching it in depth.
Thank you. What do you hope to be like? How would your bill benefit Illinois? Okay, thank you. How would your bill benefit Illinois?
The goal of our bill is to decrease sexual assault from happening and to prevent teen pregnancy, which is still pretty high, and STDs and STIs within people.
Thank you so much.
You know, all education is just so important, including information about our government. For example, did you know the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are two separate documents?
Yeah, I did know that, but I wonder how much other people know about our government. We found out in our game, Federal Feud.
So, first off, how many amendments are there to the U.S. Constitution?
27.
Awesome, you both got it.
How many branches are there in the U.S. government? And can you name them?
There are 3, the legislative, executive, and judicial.
That is also correct.
Judicial and legislative. Correct.
That's my point.
Executive, judicial, and I want to say congressional, but that's not right.
Who was the first president of the United
George
States?
Washington.
I was going to say it would get George Washington.
What is Illinois' state bird?
Cardinal.
That is correct. Incorrect.
Cardinal.
That is correct.
Oh.
Now, how many Supreme Court justices are there?
13.
That is incorrect. Nope. there are 9 Supreme Court justices.
That was a lot of fun, but we have a follow-up on the vetoed bill from earlier this morning. Here's Mia with Kira and Abril, clearly impassioned for success.
Hi, I'm Mia and I'm here with Abril and Kira. So, what is your definition of insane?
Okay, so the two of us personally have no definition of mental insanity. However, we use the DSM's definition, which is outlined in our bill.
Previously, when we talked, your goal of this bill was to erase the stigma of mental illness brings violence. So, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, so basically, since that was our goal, we feel that by making those who commit mass murders have to have a diagnosis to plead insanity before they can actually plead mental insanity, we think that that mitigates the stigma, because then not anyone and everyone can plead insanity for a mass murder.
Thank you. And then, what are any final comments about the governor's decision about the veto?
Personally, I feel that he's making, I don't want to say an ill decision, but I feel as though the common consensus between both chambers was that our bill passed with barely any opposition to it, and I feel that if the governor was elected to represent the people of this conference and of youth and government, that he's failing to do so.
Thank you guys so much.
So, how has the first day of bill flows been in the Capitol?
Oh, it's been wonderful. It's actually gone very, very efficiently. And I'm not really to thank for that. The SOS and bill flow has made bills go quickly. Currently, there's been one amendatory veto, which I've worked with the bill group in order to come up with an idea and a solution. And there's planning to be one veto later today, which I imagine is what we're talking about right now.
Sure. So speaking of bills and vetoes, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the insanity in a mass murder case. Can you tell us what specifically you disagree with?
Absolutely. I think that the inability to plead insanity in a mass murder case is infringing on the rights of the accused. Even if somebody does a horrible, horrible crime, they still have basic legal rights. And also, I don't know if I personally agree with the justification for the bill, as one of the arguments for the bill was that mental health is stigmatized, which is absolutely true, but their argument is that the way to combat that is to stop mass murders from pleading insanity, which I personally understand their worry and their commitment to this issue, but I disagree that changing the judiciary is a way to cause social change that is ultimately a media issue and not a legislative one. Furthermore, I think that making the bill in a position in which you have to have been previously diagnosed with a mental illness, of course outside of the judge's discretion, previously diagnosed with a mental illness, misses a large segment of people who are suffering from mental illness but are never diagnosed, which I think are perhaps the much larger group who would be in the position where they may be pleading insanity. Considering if they had already been diagnosed, it's likely they would have seeked out treatment and would have been able to receive treatment. And it's obvious that in this circumstance, if insanity is the cause, they're likely to not have treatment for their mental illness.
So one of the reasons why this has become a little bit of a controversy is because it passed so easily until it got up to you. And so there's been a couple of concerns that maybe you're not hearing the people. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that it isn't necessarily a democratic issue, considering that if everybody disagrees with me and they want to pass it again, they can override my veto. I have strong convictions with this issue, and I imagine that anybody else in my position, maybe it's a different bill, maybe it's a different topic, would similarly have strong convictions. I think this is just a case of potential disagreement and potentially wanting to pass a bill even when there are differing opinions on it, right? Because a lot of times in the legislative sessions, it's easy just to say yay on a bill if you disagree because you don't want people to be mad at you. And that happens a lot on the first day, especially in the first legislative sessions, because everybody's bill is still in play, right? And so I want to give the legislature another chance to consider it, and especially with all this press coverage, all this opportunity for people to read about the issue and perhaps form different opinions, I'm excited for another vote, and if my veto gets overridden, it gets overridden.
Thank you so much for talking with us today, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
In addition to this interview, Logan gave a press conference where he announced the establishment of a new program in which bills would be presented in front of Illinois state representatives.
It's amazing that kids are able to watch their bills come to life. Well, that concludes Capitol correspondence.
See you, Springfield.